Welcome to my very first YouTube channel. After playing a vanilla one-chunk account for several months, I decided to take it a few steps further and start a Supreme one-chunk account. This time I also decided to record my journey and make a YouTube series out of it. I wanted to start a Supreme account myself because I really loved watching the videos of other Supreme one-chunk accounts, like the original Supreme one-chunk, Buzz RS, who started in Falador, Hannibal or Sir Supreme, who is in my opinion the absolute best Supreme one-chunk content creator, and Makker, who started with an insane grind at Castle Wars. Please be aware that I have no experience at all with video editing, graphical design or even creating YouTube videos, and as you can probably hear, I'm not even a native English speaker. However, I'm here to learn and will hopefully improve along the way. I do hope you enjoy my series and thank you for watching. Let me give you a little bit of background information while I create my new account and go through Tutorial Island at double the speed. I wanted to start my Supreme one-chunk account in the city of Varrock. It's one of the most nostalgic cities in the game, and I used to spend a lot of my time in this city when I just started playing this game many years ago. It also contains a lot of interesting challenges and grinds, especially for a Supreme one-chunk account. Also, I don't think there already exists a Supreme one-chunk account in Varrock, so that's nice as well. I thought long about my starting chunk and all of them were kind of a bad start. Either not many different grinds, but only a few very long ones, or limitations that I don't like. Let's go over them. Varrock Palace. This is a great chunk, with a lot of combat tasks, including Bryophyta and Scurious, but it does not have a bank, and the only food available is the cooked meat from the giant rats. So all the herbs, seeds, ores and other resources, as well as all the runite drops from bosses, I would have to drop or alch. It has some regular trees and even a few yew trees, but only access to a bronze axe, which means a grind for the beaver pet with a bronze axe. Varrock Square. This chunk has the east bank in it, so that's already good. But it does not have a lot of tasks in it, only a few very long ones. Again, it has some trees and one oak tree. The Barbarian in the Blue Moon Inn drops a bronze axe, so once more the grind for the beaver pet with only a bronze axe. It also has a few men in this chunk, but no guards wander here. This means the grind for the Rocky pet, with only men available to pickpocket, and that's not fun at all. And honestly, no content either. So, the West Varrock. This chunk has a west bank in it. Great. It also has the Cook's Guild, which means getting level 32 cooking with the raw chicken drops from imps. And then further to level 99 cooking without access to flour, because the grain field is in the Grand Exchange chunk. With the ore and rune drops from men and guards, I would have an impossible smithing and magic grind on my list. Oh, and of course also the Rocky pet, but this time with access to guards. So that's at least a decent amount of money from them. None of those options would result in a type of account that would keep me motivated to continue. So I did what any other insane person would do. And that's starting with multiple chunks. Now I can hear you say, starting with multiple chunks, it's not really a one chunk account, now is it? But it has been done before, by others as well, and in the end, it is my game, I have to enjoy it. The question was, with which chunks would I start? Only the 4 main chunks, the Palace, the East, the West Bank and the Grand Exchange? Or even expanded to all 9 chunks that contain at least a piece of the Varrock city wall? This would also include the Lumberyard, the East Gate, the East Mine, the South Gate and the Champions Guild. Especially the Lumberyard and the 2 mines in the south would be awesome to have, but in the end I decided not to include those additional chunks. It just felt like too much playground for a one chunk account, and it would make some of my crazy grinds too easy for a Supreme account. To give a bit more background on why I choose those 4 chunks, it is because they work very well together. The Palace has some great combat tasks and the square allows me to bank all the items I get from them. I can get decent food from the Cook's Guild and make food myself. I could get runes, arrows, bows and low level gear and weapons from the shops. The giant rats give me some basic food and a starting cooking method to easily get to level 32 to access the Cook's Guild. However, it also allows me to train farming on the one tree patch available to me, but more on that later. Bryophyta drops a rune bar, giving me a 99 smithing grind, without a mine or a furnace. But at least I have access to nature runes and maybe a decent way to get ores. The Grand Exchange chunk gives me access to the grain field, which means I can make my own flour in the windmill of the Cook's Guild, allowing me to make my own apple pies, with all the items that I need for it spawning inside the Cook's Guild. This is a consistent way of getting cooking XP and does not force me to be dependent on raw food drops. That same grain field will also give me access to Puro once I land my hunter level, which gives me another huge grind, and I'm not looking forward to that, but will also give me many great items, resources and gear. With both the Vrck square and the West Vrck chunk available to me, I could train my agility level on those rooftops once I land to level 30. This will help with restoring my run energy faster, but it will also allow me to train up to the point where I can enter the pipe in the sewers to access the Edgeville dungeon. While this opens up another immense grind of hill giants and obor, it will also give me access to a mining area. One issue, I can't get a pickaxe, except for a mythical one in Puro, means I also have to lamp my mining. So the chance to get a lower level pickaxe from the beginner and easy clues. And I should get plenty of those clues from woodcutting, moss giants and Puro. So that lamping part might be limited to only a few levels or nothing at all. The woodcutting grind will also give me access to tree seeds, and the palace chunk has a tree patch. Thus, if I rake that patch up to level 15, I can start planting trees in there. And once again, Puro would give me access to super compost, which is great since I won't have access to secateurs. Alright, so these are the 4 chunks that I ended up with. Let's get over all of the tasks I need to complete in these chunks. To make it a bit easier to follow along, I made a few graphical overviews that I will show at the beginning and end of each video. I divided all my tasks in a few categories and made a view for each category, beginning with the combat related tasks. I will need to get level 50 attack for the bone weapons, 40 defense for the rune armor and 40 strength for the rune warhammer. For now I will be able to get a yew bow as a drop and thus needing level 40 range. The 52 prayer is needed to pray smite, which is the highest prayer I can activate, and it is also needed for an achievement diary task in Vrck. With the nature runes I will get, I can do entangle at level 79 magic. I can't train too many skills yet in the middle column, only thieving to level 40 for pickpocketing guards and level 87 fletching so I can make my own magic shield. Because as you will see, I'll have to grow my own magic tree. Nope, I can't make my own magic shortbow yet because currently I don't have access to bowstrings. The runite bar I can get from Bryo will give me the level 99 smithing grind, again without a mine or a furnace. 99 cooking to get the cooking cape in the cooking guild. 75 fire making and wood cutting to chop and burn a magic log. And 72 farming to grow my own magic tree. I can get a gardener's pie in the cooking guild, which will boost my level to 75, so no need to get there myself. The next category is quests, diaries and combat tasks. There are 7 diary tasks that I can complete in Vrck. None of them should be too hard, and all of them should be completable by the skill tasks I have to do anyway. There are also a few combat tasks for Bryo and Scurry that I can do. For now I can't do all of them yet, as for example I don't have access to a poison weapon. And lastly in this category there are a few easy quests that I can start, and I can even complete 3 of them. The next category is skills and drops. I split this category into 3 subcategories, depending on the size of the drop tables. As a Supreme one chunk, I will have to complete the full drop table of all unique monsters. The first subcategory are the monsters with no or only a few drops. Most of these drops are the guaranteed bones and meats, with a chance of dropping an unsold head or a clue scroll. This subcategory should be quick to complete. The second category are the monsters with a decent drop table. They have about 30 to 40 different drops, but at worst it will be at a drop rate of 1 in a few hundred. The imps are probably the worst, as they teleport out when in combat. These monsters will also give me a good amount of herbs, which I can't use yet, and even some low level ores and bars to get my smithing grind started. The last subcategory are the big grinds, starting with the moss giants. I will need to kill a lot of them for the many mossy keys I will need. But the moss giants themselves also have some pretty rare drops, with a 1 in 5k curved bone and some high level seeds at 1 in a few thousands. But again, it should be no problem to get these rarer drops in my grind for the mossy keys. Bryophyta will be the worst grind, I bet. I need to get a mossy key for every kill, and he has some nasty drops. If you think the 1 in 118 Bryo Essence drop is bad, have a look at his drop table. He also has the 1 in 5k curved bone, the 1 in 10k dwarf wheat seed, and the 1 in 20k dorsal seed drop. That would mean I would have to kill 3 million moss giants for the mossy keys if I get everything on drop rate. And to be honest, that looks like a meme grind to me, and I'm not certain if I will go for them. I will definitely do a lot more than 100 or 200 kills, I'll even go for 1000 kills. I'm not sure if I will go for 20,000 Bryo kills. Oh, and all of those rare drops are P2P only drops, and Bryo can poison me in P2P. And you know what? I have almost no option to cure my poison. Besides the strange fruits from random events, there is also the apothecary that can give me an anti-poison, but you will need a limpwort root and a cadaver berry in exchange. I can't get the limpwort roots yet, and I only can get a cadaver berry from a drop from imps. The bushes are just out of my chunk. Damn, those 9 starting chunks would definitely be useful. Ending this category with Scurious. I've never killed him to be honest, but my stats and my gear should definitely be high enough after I started the Bryo grind, and I should be able to easily kill him. And he has some nice drops as well. I will probably also need 3 spines to create all the different weapons and go for the Scurry pet. The fourth category are buying all the items from the shops. There are plenty of shops in Vrok, and some of them very useful. Starting with Aubrey's rune shop, which will be a good source for my basic runes. Too bad he doesn't sell any nature runes, because I'm going to need a lot of them. The bartender in the Blue Moon Inn sells me beers, which will be a good beginning food source during my early pickpocketing grind. And the farming shop gives me some items to get started with the farming grind. He doesn't sell spades, but there is a spawn just above the general store. And unfortunately, he also doesn't sell any secateurs, so I can't prune my sick trees. Horvik sells me some basic armor for melee and range. And Loe is an MVP in this chunk with his nice collection of bows and arrows. The pie shop in the cooking guild will provide me with a decent food option. Teresa also has some clothes that I need to buy, and the general store has some useful items that I need to buy. The weapon store has a ton of weapons, including the Eddy sword, which will be my best weapon for a long time. The elemental staffs from Zev are very convenient and will also give me an easy way to autocast my combat spells. And lastly, I'll need to buy a rotten tomato from the crate of Toby. And the last category is miscellaneous stuff, starting with the collection log items. There are 5 collection items that I can get for now, which are the Mossy Key, the Long Bone and the Curve Bone from the Moss Giants, the Bryophyta Essence and the Scurry Spine. For now, I have to get 4 pets: the Scurry pet from Scurious, the Beaver from woodcutting, Rocky from pickpocketing and Tangleroot from farming. As a best in slot for skilling, I only have to get a rune axe that I can smith myself. My best in slot melee will be full rune from Bryo and Scurry. And my best in slot magic are the Zemi Mage Robes, the Blue Wizard Head, the Magic Shield and the Bryo Staff. And my best in slot range is the Rune Mad Helm, Studded Body and Legs, a yew bow, rune knives and eddy arrows. Also, as a Supreme One Chunk account, I will have to purchase a bank slot upgrade for every bank with a banker available to me. In my case, that's going to be 4 upgrades, costing 80 million in total. 4 upgrades because I have 4 banks with bankers available. The Vrok East Bank, the Vrok West Bank, the Grand Exchange and the small bank in the Cooks Guild that I will be able to access once I get my level 99 cooking. And the very last item that I also need is to get a trimmed cooking cape. And that's it, at least for now, to start with. because I will get more grinds when I land my hunter to level 17 for Puro Puro and my agility to level 30, so I can train on the rooftops to level 51 to enter the Edgeville dungeon from the sewer pipe. And yes, I do realize that I will probably never leave these 4 chunks, but one can try, right? Also, if you want to follow along, have a look at my chunk map, provided by Source Chunk. I have 2 chunk maps, one that will be synchronized with the progress in these videos, and another one that I will maintain in real time. Feel free to check both of them out, but be aware you might see some spoilers, because I'm already in my grinds for several months now before releasing this first video. Thank you very much for watching until the end, and I do hope that you enjoy my series. Bye!